Carolina Salguero here for sunset. I think it's 106 in our COVID-19 series. Sharing our great view, Big Sky, Brooklyn, maritime activity for people who are shut in inside. Trying to share some end of day zen for you. So I am on top of the wheelhouse of the historic ship Mary A. Whalen. She's the flagship of the nonprofit that I run, PortSide New York. We're located in the neighborhood of Red Hook, Brooklyn, on Pier 11 in this man-made body of water here, Atlantic Basin, which has a very diverse collection of ships on this Pier 11. There's all that you can see of our Mary Whalen from up here. That's the Red Hook container terminal, working a ship, and the ferry dock for NYC Ferry and now the Governor's Island ferries. So what's new now is we're streaming this on more than just Facebook, because lots of people aren't on Facebook. So it's now live on Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook. Now what I'm going to try and do, because our Facebook friends are used to being able to interact with me, I'm trying to watch the comments on the other phone, but I don't see the live stream up yet, so I can keep the conversation going. Because we haven't yet figured out how to get comments working through this Restream app. It's surprisingly complicated to stream on multiple platforms. So, it's a lovely evening. I can say it's refreshingly breezy, quite breezy up here. Sweltering down for water level, but nice up here. That's the ferry Urban Journey turning around. Ferries all named by second graders. The NYC EDC, that's the Economic Development Corporation, put out a newsletter today, and in there they revealed the names of some new ferries. And let me see if I can remember them. I can't. How bad. I should have come here with a cheat sheet. Two of them were funny. There were three names. But I didn't explain the names of other new ones that I'd seen during the pandemic, like one of my favorite, Cyclone Shark. So I guess tomorrow I'll come up with more information. Please forgive me. Trying to find the live feed on the Mary Whalen page so I can see the comments, and I haven't found that. So I have no idea how it's working. Flying blind on something. Spin around here and show you the skies. The ship that's in the Red Hook terminal is a regular, Erato. During the pandemic, one of our friends explained the name. I thought it was related to the Latin word for mistake, but it turns out it's Greek. It's a Greek goddess, and now I'm going to forget what the name was, what it meant. A lot of forgetting tonight, I'm sorry. So it's kind of open over here, not too many clouds. An interesting pile of clouds over there, kind of reminds me of snow on a mountain. Some other ones up here. Back over here toward the Statue of Liberty. And the sinking fireball that has been roasting us today in New York City. Listing over here. So here comes another NYC ferry. In the distance I see some small pleasure boats, quite small ones. changed the furniture. They said they were making a mansion, which is what I was a kid, what I would have called a fort. So there you go. Changing real estate concepts over time. They've moved around furniture and signs and whatever to make a cluster of things over there behind the guardhouse. Very entertaining. The Statue of Liberty there, that big shape. Every time I try and look at the other phone, I lose my balance. There goes a fast-moving pleasure boat zooming down the buttermilk. Zooming over there. A little bit more harbor activity, but it's still quiet in comparison to a non-pandemic summer. Very quiet on the water. I think New York City's reopening or recovering economically is happening ashore more than on the water yet. Like Hamilton Avenue underneath the BQE highway today when I came back early afternoon, jammed, looked like normal times. But the waterways still look quiet. And like most of the boats on this pier, they're not working yet. Or there's a big summer maintenance project like that tall ship replica there was stalled, shut down during the pandemic, so they're months behind. And then everyone has to figure out how many passengers they can carry and do it social distance safe with the virus. Alright, let's just watch the sun for a bit as she goes down. There she goes, which is different from there she blows. Being a sun, not a whale. Little golden rim there on that looks nicer and a little bit closer. Let's stay there for a while. So we've got one of those little propeller planes up there again tonight. One night we got a guy doing stunts, but I haven't seen that since. And one helicopter. For the first couple months of the pandemic, there were no helicopters at all. Now they're back. Another arriving New York City ferry. I regret that I can't see the comments. Jeff Rogers was usually telling me what these are. He may be doing it on a Facebook comment that I can't see. Sorry, Jeff. We are still trying to untangle the technology. No, technology is not all easy plug and play. Which one is this? Oh yes, it's one of my favorites, Cyclone Shark. Way to go, second grade. I don't know which second grade named it Cyclone Shark, but... Wow, there's some nice color action happening behind me. And a pile of clouds, I said, that looked a little bit like mountain snow. They're catching the last rays of the sun over there. And the kids, these three kids, what they've done is they've taken one of the little kid-sized picnic tables, signs, and I don't know what all else, and they've got themselves, well, they're off the picnic table now, right there, but between the guard booth and the chain link fence, they've made their own little world. Pleasure boat bombing up the buttermilk. Northbound Staten Island ferry over there. Some eccentric cloud wisps up here. Carefully unpainted mast. The snow pile is bigger and more orange. What's going on over there in the container terminal. They're still unloading. I see a box coming off right there. A white rectangle container going on the back of a hustler, which is kind of like a tractor trailer but with no license plates. Can't leave the port. It just stays within the confines of the container port. So they should have gotten them out of the container port during Hurricane Sandy. They didn't. All of they all flooded and they had to replace all the ball bearings and all the wheels. It was a project that took them about 6 months, which I know because we were in the container port in those times, and they did the job right next to the Mary Whalen inside the shed. That was one of the reasons why PortSide, we came up with a plan after Hurricane Sandy, a commercial vehicle evacuation plan, because all the city evacuation plans were focused on getting people, residents out. And lots of waterfront flood areas are also industrial areas, and vehicles with commercial plates in New York City are not allowed to park on the street overnight, and in lots of places. And like the vehicles in the container port with no plates at all couldn't legally park outside the container port. And there was an incredible amount of damage to all sorts of commercial and industrial vehicles as a result. So we know one clever business that took all of their delivery trucks and put them up on the BQE, just using up one lane during the short period of time that Sandy's surge was in, and then got them right back off the BQE and saved damage to a whole fleet of trucks. Very clever CEO that was. Very clever. It was also made you realize how the kind of elevated highway near the waterfront that so many urban planners hate, understandably, we do too. But when you've got that in a flood zone, you actually have a resiliency asset. You've got a high place to evacuate stuff or people. So while you're stuck with those ugly elevated highways, maybe think about it as an asset in times of flooding. All right, that's the resiliency speech of the evening. The last thing I'll say is we tried shopping that proposal around and couldn't get anybody in city government really to pay attention. I think the Department of City Planning finally did do something, and we have no idea if we influenced that or not, because, well, honestly, the city doesn't usually turn around and give credit that way. But we even developed a hackathon, worked with hackers to make a working model of a vehicle flood evacuation app. So there. All right, back to the harbor. The harbor. I'm thinking going to Maine to join some friends. Got to practice my Maine accent. The harbor. Get out of here and go sailing for 3 days. excuse me, the mansion. I think it's a mansion. They're there, and they managed to get themselves very far away from their parents. Good kid logic. There they are. Luxury. It's so great. It's a shame that most of us lose that power of invention and imagination. That's looking mighty fine, huh? It's quite a thing. Regulars. They are here literally every day. At least 2 of them, sometimes 4 or 5 of them. Regardless of how scorching hot it is. They also use the sprinkler, the adults. For a while we had more adults in the sprinkler than kids. The umbrellas are collapsed because there was a little bit of a rainstorm earlier. I wasn't sure if it was going to blow up into a real proper squall, so I just took precautions and shut them. Clanging sounds of container port. I think I hear the engine thumping sound of the shearwater there in that sailboat the engineer Nobby Pierce has been working on. It sounded like he got it running finally last night. Not sure that's what I'm hearing though. There's enough wind up here. I'm having a hard time pinpointing the sound of that engine. Pinpointing location. Anyway, campers, I think it's about time for me to sign off. I'm going to spin back around to the Statue of Liberty. And I'm going to wish you good night from here. So, stay strong, everyone. Brooklyn strong, as I like to put it. Please do everything you can to avoid getting the virus. I had it myself. You don't want it. You don't want to give it to anybody else. You don't want to be a carrier. So please wear the mask. Just don't fight the mask thing, please. Just wear the bloody mask. And wash your hands a lot.